Hey everybody, it's Strict9 with Strict9 GP, and welcome back to another episode of my Out of the Park 21 playthrough with the Cubs. So we're down to the wire. We're at September of the 2023 season, and unfortunately, I'm not going to pull this one out. Last episode, I was going over some potential trade options and things of that nature. Just whatever I could do to improve this team. We were at the trading deadline, I believe, in the last episode, and we were playing better, but I just felt like we needed something to get us over the top. And one of the things I had talked about to getting us over the top was a trade for a free agent pitcher, or he's going to be a free agent. But I thought, he would stabilize that starting rotation and give us a good um, chance to turn it around and maybe play above 500 and make that last wild card spot. But that's not been the case so far. So to take a look at the record right off the bat here, we are 60 and 74. We have won five in a row, but that'll tell you how bad we have been playing. I mean, we were playing just really pitifully ever since that last episode. August was terrible, and we were so bad that we were out of the race pretty quickly. We're 11 and a half back from that next wild card spot, and so with roughly 28 games to play, it's not doable. If I look at the rest of the league too, I think what has happened, the teams that were competing for that second wild card have all started playing better. So you got two teams in the East that are 10 games above 500. Phillies are 3 games above 500. You got Cardinals and Reds are now both playing a lot better. The Reds just around 10 games above 500, and Padres a couple games above 500. So that second wild card spot, when I was deliberating everything in the All-Star break, it looked like if you finish just around 500, maybe a game or two above 500, you got a chance. But now it doesn't look like you're going to. The teams that are in contention for the wild card have pulled away from it, and it's really odd to me why we're like this. I'll take a look at the team performance and I'll look at individually. So team stats is what I used a lot to just base how well we're doing. And outside of the bullpen, which is a surprise because I thought the bullpen was going to be where the strength was, there's some things about the pitching that aren't too bad. I mean, we're third in wins above replacement, top 10 in starters ERA, second in strikeouts, sixth in home runs allowed. But for the most part, we're trending towards the bottom half of the league in pitching. On the offensive side, though, we're really, I think, competitive. We've improved our home runs a little bit, although we're still 15th in the National League in that. But we are fifth in slugging percentage, so we are getting some extra base hits. We're top 5 in a lot of categories. We lead in batting average and strikeouts. So the team is geared towards contact, which is what I like, and getting on base. So I don't feel the offense is the problem. It's still that pitching. And you look at August, we were 9 and 19. That's what did it for us, really. That kept us from contending. Had we just won 4 or 5 more games to be looking at, just a few games under 500, I'd feel a little bit better about it. But starting with the pitching staff, what we're struggling in is that bullpen, and I just thought I would do like just kind of a trade that would make it so that one side of this equation is going to be more dominant than the other. So what I did is I was looking at Aaron Nola, who's going to be a free agent at the end of this year. He's a 4-star pitcher. Great rating still, 30 years old in his career. He should have been a dependable starter. He was having a decent season with Phillies when I traded for him. He's been a bust. 1 and 3, a 4.42 ERA. Let's look at his FIP just to see if maybe that. I mean, it's not too bad. 4.05. Maybe our defense hasn't been too great when he's pitching, but I was assuming that he would be a little bit better than that, and maybe we'd pick up 5 to 7 wins or so down the stretch from him. But unless he has a great September, that's not going to happen. And I traded a guy who was just really driving me crazy, Seth Elledge, and the Phillies immediately put him in their starting rotation for whatever reason because his stamina is terrible, and he's looked okay. I mean, he's pitching way better for them than he did for us, but he was not somebody that I was gonna put some money into based on what he was giving me this year. 797 earned run average. He was, for whatever reason, he was really tanking, but it left us with Rasmussen, who's also having a terrible season. Should be better than he is. I don't expect I'll keep this guy. Well, I don't know if I'll play any more of this Cubs playthrough offline, but if I were to do that, I would probably let him go. I think we also picked up Brad Hand from Philadelphia. How did we trade him for? Yeah, we just traded a backup second baseman who's pretty decent speed-wise and fielding. Maybe they were thin at that position. So that wasn't a big loss. And Brad Hand is actually pretty high for the bullpen guy that he is, but he's really a good pitcher, and he's looked, I think, pretty well for us for the most part. I mean, he hasn't pitched a whole lot, but I think we needed some lefty help in that bullpen. Outside of Vasquez, we only have Hand now as a lefty reliever. But then on the lineup side, aside from the power, things are going pretty decent. Segura, who's in a minimal injury situation right now, but I'm gonna ride it out. I'm not gonna re-sign him. That might be a jerk thing to do to him, but we need his offense if he can keep playing. Horner's had a good year. Caratini has had a better second half. If you look at July, he hit 319. He stumbled a little bit in August, but he's been okay. He hasn't been what he was last year. Rizzo's average is down. Rojas is struggling, but Clement, man, he has been great at backup. I love what he brings to the team. And then I'm looking at Burleson, but I don't know what kind of future he's going to have. I tried to trade him as well at that All-Star break because he's a 5-star potential from OSA, but I couldn't get any takers. And Corey Dickerson is really playing way better, and I'm giving him some time in the lineup when I can. But Hazley, I think he's put a lock on the left fielder spot from what he's doing this year. He's having an even better year this year than last. Inciarte is doing really good. I hope he stays healthy. Brendan Davis, average is down. I hope he has a good September. His August was just really bad. But I still think he's a dependable 3-star pitcher or player at 23 years old. He's got a lot of room. And you know, he'd be the kind of guy that, as long as his ratings hold steady, you'd keep this guy for 10 years on this Cubs team with the right contracts, you know, and get a lot of good play out of him. But Roederer is another guy who looks good offensively every time I see him, and so I don't know what to do with him with Inciarte in that lineup, but I'll probably keep Inciarte for now for the most part. But I'm just going to go ahead and sim through this remaining month and just hope we turn it around, play better. We are playing well right now. Another win against Cincinnati. Caratini scored a couple runs, but Davis and Horner a couple hits. Clement got the start. Berrios has pitched a lot better. I didn't mention him, but he has pitched better, I think, in the second half. Well, you throw out August. August was just a terrible month for everybody. But Vasquez got another save here. So last game again, well, no, we got 2 more against Cincinnati at home, and we finally lose. I think that was a 6-game winning streak we had going on. Just 1 hit in this game. Medina, 2.5-star pitcher, but he got a complete game shutout. Gray didn't look too bad in the loss. And now last game against Cincinnati, 8-0 shutout. So, man, we had a good series there. Good run. Segura still hitting even though he's injured. Rizzo, was he injured? No. Caratini, a couple hits in this one. His average is up above 250 now. Brendan Davis, another couple of hits. And then Nola, complete game shutout. Best outing he's given us since we traded for him. And just take a look at the mail here, see what we're missing. takes a while to load on the mail. I've noticed it's a really weird thing. It's like the first time you open your mailbox when you're simming out, it does this where it just kind of locks up for a while. I've never seen that before. But let's see. Stars of the week: Ronald Guzman for Texas, Dylan Carlson for the Cardinals. Um, and so now we are playing better. We're 17th in power rankings, but we're still 13 games below. We got Toronto, 3 games at home. First game, 2-1 win. Pitching is now looking really good. Brendan Davis, another game. Good game. He's hitting over 250. Syndergaard finally got a win. He's still been one tough luck pitcher, on pace for 7 wins above replacement, but only 8 wins. Game 2 against Toronto, 12-4. Offense got on track here. Segura 3 for 5, drove in 4. Hazley, good game. Clement got the start. He's really productive when I'm giving him playtime. And then Banda has been up and down this year. His ERA is up to over 4, but still 12 wins. If I look at his FIP, it's 384. So I think he could probably be maybe a couple wins better than that record for the way he's pitched. So game 3, can we sweep Toronto? It's thinking, and we do 4-3, good win there. Inciarte no hits, but Segura a couple hits. Horner drove in 3, and Berrios another good game. 7 innings, 2 runs, 10 Ks, and now we're going to go up against Pittsburgh on the road. I don't know how well Pittsburgh's doing. I think they're probably a little bit worse than us. But honestly, though, we've kind of been back and forth with them in that 3rd spot for most of the year, at least the second half of the season. They're coming off an 8-game losing streak. That's why they're so low down. But we're 10 games below 500. What does that mean? With 22 to play, we would have to finish, what is that, 16-6 to assure a 500 season. That's almost impossible. And we lose extra innings in this first game, 3-4. A couple hits from Rizzo. Davis 2 for 6. He's injured though, but just a minimal injury. Gray pitched another good game, but Vasquez couldn't get the save in this one. And another loss, 2-4. I think that's going to really end our chances of hitting 500 for the season. Davis a couple hits in this one. Horner a couple hits. Nola back to pitching the way he has been for us. 6 innings, 4 runs. Rasmussen, though, starting to look better maybe. Hopefully he'll get back to his form. And then game 3 against Pittsburgh, 5-1, but it took 10 innings. Segura still injured. Rizzo drove in a couple. Horner another couple hits for him in this game. Barrera got the start at right. Had a good game. Syndergaard, this is so painful to see. 8 innings, 1 run, still couldn't get the win. So the news, there's a lot of news here. It's probably because there's teams falling out of the playoffs. We did get looks like another poor prospect there from our scout. Dodgers, they win the West already. Houston clinches the American League West. Players of the Week, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. having a great year. Might be the MVP for the first time in his career in this playthrough. And Tatis, another one, having a great year. Power rankings, we moved all the way up to 14th. So we're playing a lot better. We're 11 games under 500. We got Cincinnati, 2 games on the road. Game 1, huge loss, 13-3. Caratini had 3 hits, and that's probably the biggest. Berrios, another bad outing from him, popping 5 runs in 2 innings. And then Honeywell, who I moved out of that starting rotation when I picked up Aaron Nola. He's not looking good in the bullpen. And then we lose a tough one, 2-1 in extra innings. Davis back healthy. Nope, he's still struggling, but he had a couple hits here. Banda, another tough luck loss for him. Well, he didn't get the loss, but he didn't get the win. So now up against Colorado, 4 games on the road. Always hate playing this team on the road. We do manage the first win, 9-7. And we got an injury. Rizzo, it's for a week. I'm not going to put him on the DL at this time, or IL, whatever, at this point. Who's backing up for him? Dickerson. So Dickerson will probably get some starts here at first while he's injured. He had a good game, 3 for 3. Drove in a couple. Segura, Hazley, all good games from them. Sonny Gray pitched a good start, but Rasmussen, I was starting to think good about him, and then he has a terrible outing. Game 2 against Colorado, another big win, 16-4. Man, 5 hits from Horner leading off. Davis 3 for 3, hitting 260 now, so that's respectable from where he was. Hazley, great outing from him, 3 for 5, 4 RBIs, 4 hits for Hernandez, backup catcher who got the start. I thought maybe Dickerson would get some time there, and then Nola, 13 strikeouts in this game. That's pretty impressive. Game 3 against Colorado, 10-3, so we've won 3 of the 4 here from them. We're back 10 games below 500. Davis, 3 hits. Dickerson got the start, looked good. Caratini, 3 hits. Horner, 3 hits. Man, we're getting some offense against this team. And Syndergaard, not his best outing, really, but he got his 8th win. And then let's finish the series 22-6. Wow. So our offensive numbers are going to look a little bit better now after this series. Hazley, 4 hits. Davis, 4 for 5, scored 5, drove in 4. Man, what a series for these guys. Horner, 5 RBIs. Hernandez at catcher, 6 RBIs. Pitching, we didn't really need it. Berrios got the win, even though he didn't look great. Man, what a series. Horner's 5 hits made the news. Segura is struggling. I just don't know. There's another. Man, the scout's just not picking up much. So players of the week, Isaac Paredes and Tyler Nevin. We should have had some guys in there with that series. And power rankings, we moved up to 12th. We're 9 games below 500. We're not going to make. We're 7.5 behind the Phillies now for that wild card. There's no way we're going to make that. But what a series! And I told you we were struggling with extra base hits. I have a feeling that improved us a little bit. Home runs, we're 14th now after that series. Extra base hits, we are 7th still, but man, that moved us up in a few categories. So Baltimore at home, 11-0. So that's a letdown after the Colorado game. We had a few guys with some hits, but Banda, not a great game from him. And in game 2, we lose 7-10. Sonny Gray injured in this one. 4 for 7 from Segura. So even though he's injured, he's still giving us good play. Dickerson, good game from him. Caratini, 3 for 6. He's hitting 267 now. Having a really good second half of the season. The bullpen, Joe, just not good again. So now we're going to go up against Milwaukee. 4-game series, but it's at home. Game 1, 4-3. Davis, 2 for 3, drove in 3. His average is coming slowly up to respectable. Hazley, another good game. He might get up to 300 the way he's hitting right now. Hand. Sorry, I misread it. Another good outing from him. At 33 years old, he might be somebody worth re-signing. $9.5 million. That's pretty tough. Let's go to game 2 against Milwaukee here. 5-6 in the extra innings. Horner, a couple hits. He's hitting 332. I bet he's maybe on that leaderboard now with those kind of numbers. Syndergaard, one of his worst outings of the year, it looks like, and we're struggling again. 11 games below 500. Another 5-6 loss in extra innings. Hazley 3 hits. He is now at 300 for the year. He's having a great September, hitting 364, 5 home runs, 15 RBIs. Davis, another good game. He can push close to 100 RBIs if he really stays hot. A lot of guys with multiple hits in this game, but Barrios 7 innings, 4 runs, wasn't terrible, but that bullpen, Rasmussen 2 runs late to lose it. A lot of news, but let's finish the series. We're 12 games below 500. Finally, how many extra inning games can you have in one series? It was all but the first one, so we managed to split them, win that last one in extra innings. Hazley 4 hits, Rizzo couple hits, he's back healthy, 4 RBIs. And pitching wise, Banda, what happened to him? 2 bad outings in a row from him. And Rasmussen, man, is there somebody I need to take a look? I mean, I'm limited because I'm at the full roster spot, but I don't think he's part of this team anymore. The way he's playing. I'm going to take a look at the news now. 21 things here. It's probably going to be a lot of out of playoffs, and that's what it looks like. So Astros, I guess they clinched the division now. San Francisco out, Seattle out, and Cubs, we're officially out right now. Players of the week, Gleyber Torres and Dylan Carlson. Man, he's having a good run here down the stretch. Weekly ratings, we're now back to 16th. We're 11th, 11 games below 500. That was a tough week, even though we've won 6 of 10. Cincinnati, they're probably not going to make it. They have a run going, but St. Louis is probably going to hold on to win the Central. But that second wild card spot is going to be a race. Unfortunately, we're just not going to be in it. Horner, yeah, he is now 3rd in the league in batting. Syndergaard, he's on that ERA list because it's, I guess, been such a tough year for that. But he is leading in pitchers' wins above replacement this year. It's a shame that he doesn't have 5-6 more wins. Alvarez, 53 home runs. Just noticed he's coming off an MVP year. He might win it again. He is not leading in batter WAR, though. That's Mike Trout by a long shot. He's already over 10. All right, so let's go up against Atlanta. They're playing for the division there. Game 1 on the road, 8-13. Davis, 3 for 4, now hitting above 270. Hazley still performing really well. Inciarte, a couple hits against his old team. But Gray, he didn't pitch much here. He might be injured, but look at that bullpen. Rasmussen, man, I would not re-sign him at all at this point based on this year. I can't believe, he really only gave me one good year, though. And it was a good one in 2022, but that's been one of the worst bullpen performances I've seen on this team since I've taken it over. All right, so game 2 against Atlanta, we lose 5-9. 3 hits from Horner, for what it's worth. He I think has been our best player this year overall. Roederer, a good game in taking over for Inciarte. Nola, not terrible, but got the loss here. And now game 3, we manage a win, 6-2. 3 hits from Dickerson. Pretty productive numbers from him in limited play, I think. He doesn't walk too much, though. That's pretty bad. Rojas, 3 hits. This team will need an upgrade, I think, at shortstop next year. He's got 2 more years left on his contract. He's just not playing well enough offensively. Syndergaard, though, 9 wins, a complete game here, 12 Ks. I mean, could this guy get another win and make? I don't know if we're going to have enough. I don't think he's going to get another start. He's going to get some votes for Cy Young with the mediocre season. So we're going to end their season with 4 games on the road against St. Louis. What positives can we pull from this? Well, we're not going to lose 90. I mean, that's good. I think if we could split this one, can we play spoiler? No, we can't play spoiler. They're going to be in. I don't know what to to take from it. I mean, if we win the series, I mean, that would be a positive, I guess positive enough. And we do win the first one, game 1, 5-3 in 13 innings. Inciarte 3 hits. I don't know what it is about this guy, but when he's healthy, he's really a great performer. Hitting 342 on the year. Hazley, though, a bad game. Davis, 3 more hits for him. Really turned it around. His September really made his season, honestly. He's hitting over 400 for September. Barrios, a good outing, didn't get the win. Brad Hand, again, this guy he's somebody you would really like to have on your team for sure, but is he worth $9.5 million? Another win here, 5-4. 2 hits from Segura. Hernandez, who I think could be a starting catcher at 25. If I'm staying with this team, he might be something that I let Caratini go because I just gave Caratini such a high contract to keep him. I might let him go and just do the buyout, save that money, and at the very worst, I would have Hernandez to start. He's probably a little bit better or the same defensively. He might even be better offensively at this point. But what else was good about this one? 2 hits from Segura. And then Banda, 13th win, even though he didn't look great in this one. So we have split the series. Can we win another one and win the series? No, 11-2. Not much offensively here. And then Gray, bad outing. He's gone, of course. I got him for little of nothing, really. But I don't know what makes him not perform well with these ratings in this playthrough. I mean, I say not perform well. I mean, it's a 2.4 wins above replacement. If you're just looking for a 5th starter and you're paying him just under $1.5 million, I think you're getting your value out of that. Rasmussen, wow, 4 runs in this one. I'm just seeing how bad he can go at this point. So let's finish the season. 75 wins. Can we get one more? We do. 6-3 in 11 innings. 2 hits from Barrera. Davis finishes 272 average. Pretty decent sophomore year from him. 23, he'll be 24 next year. I still think he's a starter, at least at this point. I think he's going to be up for... No, he's not eligible for arbitration yet. Caratini finished decent. Rizzo struggled, though. Had some injury problems. Nola did not get the win. He pitched okay in this one. Adams blew the save. Vasquez got the win. But take a look at the news here. Sano already at 300 home runs, but he's low average player. And then player development update, I wanted to take a look at that. So Burleson, he improved a little bit, but he wasn't impressive in limited play for me this year and didn't really look that great in AAA. I'd still like to trade this guy for something. If I were staying with this playthrough. Ian Miller, Tommy Trenholm, a closer. I'm not seeing too much to get excited about in the player development. Maybe some of these guys down here, the low divisions. Not really. Not really much at all. Kevin Made. Nah. I'm seeing a lot of guys offensively in my minor league system. They're not developing their contact the way I'd like to see it. So best batters of the month, Edwin Rios in the American League, Austin Beck in his, I guess, first full season with the Reds. Pitchers of the month, Forrest Whitley and Chris Paddock. Having a pretty decent year. Rookies, another Marte. I don't know if he's kin to the other Martes, but for Seattle in the American League, Austin Beck in the National League, and Guerrero wins the batting race. Man, that's going to be a tough MVP decision in the American League. And then Alek Thomas wins for Arizona. Second year in a row he's led the National League in batting. So let's look at the standings. Tampa Bay cruises in the American League East. Toronto in as a wild card. Cleveland cruises in the American League Central. And then Houston. 3 teams with 100-plus wins in the American League. And then Angels, a pretty good year for them to make the wild card. Individually, you got Guerrero with that great year. 3 guys here at least with over 50 home runs. Joey Gallo, 58 to lead the league, but 223 average, 241 strikeouts. I think he got some MVP votes in 2022. I'm curious what he'll do this year. Texas finished right up at 500. Wins above replacement, though. I mean, Lindor, another guy who had a good year. He's looking good in this playthrough. Should have won the MVP, I think, last year. I think Trout's probably, just based on the way the voting usually goes, I think he's probably going to win MVP this year. That would give him 5 total for this playthrough. Pitching, Shane Bieber, 21 wins. Second time he's hit over 20 wins in his career for this playthrough. He has won 1 Cy Young. He might win it again. Led the league in wins above replacement as well. Man, he's a good pitcher. And that's pretty much it for the American League. In the National League, Horner, ties for second in batting average. I do think he is our best player offensively this year. Chris Bryant, okay. He led the league in home runs. They're still paying him a lot of money for those home runs. He's 2 more years on that contract at $27 million. And let's see if there's anything else to really. Bryce Harper was at 44. So the Phillies, they did not make the playoffs, but they had a decent year. Syndergaard still led the league in wins above replacement. I can't imagine him winning the Cy Young with those numbers, but it would really be interesting to see who does win it. And then Corey Knebel led the league in saves for Philadelphia. Philadelphia seems like they should have had a better year with some of the players they had. So individually, first off, team-wise, we'll look at how we did. Offense was awesome. Pitching, we really didn't pick up any ground in September, and we did play better. I mean, we were 16-12 from September on. So you take away that August, would we have made the playoffs? Probably not. I mean, if we'd have flipped it on its side and been 19-9 in August, so that would have given us 10 more wins. We would have been 86-76. That would have been about the only way we would have made it. And 19-9 is a pretty tough expectation. And even then, 86 wins wouldn't have made the wild card. We would have been still a game behind San Diego. So just wasn't to be this year. Individually, back to the pitching staffs. If I look at wins above replacement, Syndergaard by far our best pitcher there. Banda, off the year that he had last year, but still 2 more years of this guy. He's definitely worth the money he's getting paid. Nola for us was 3-5. I guess if we had played better for him when he was pitching, maybe he would have been worth the money. Berrios, however you say it, 3+ wins above replacement. I put a lot of money into this guy. I would have hoped to get more from him. So that was more than likely that's going to be a bust. And as I leave this playthrough, I mean, I'm putting the Cubs in some pretty rough spot with that contract. But the rest of the team, until you get to Rasmussen, was positive in wins above replacement. Some of these guys had some good years. I thought Ibarra finally didn't get a lot of play time. I think he wasn't injured, so he needs to be getting more play time. I don't know why he didn't. He had a decent year. Brad Ham was a good pickup for us. Sub 2 ERA. I mean, he looked really good. And Vasquez, 12 saves, but overall his numbers were decent. On the lineup side, looking at wins above replacement, again, Hoerner, best player, but Hazley not far behind. He didn't finish with 300 average, but his production is really good. Scored 93 runs. He's getting some walks, so his on-base percentage is going to be good. He's a good player with his speed to have. Well, he's got decent speed. He's a good player to have batting early in the lineup and against lefty or righties anyway. And I like his makeup, so I got him in trade, I think, from the Phillies for Eduardo Rodriguez, who the Phillies got rid of after that year. So I think that was a good move. Inciarte, good year. Despite those injuries, his numbers are good too. I like him leading off, so he should be good. Brendan Davis, just under 3 in wins above replacement, but he really had a great second half, or at least you take out August. His September was really good. Hit 400, 1.137 in OPS. So a good year from him. I think when you get to Rojas, for sure, need an upgrade there. I am not sold on this Burleson guy. I'm going to try to, well, I keep saying that because I don't know if I will play this series offline, but I think this will be the last episode. I really want to trade him. I don't think he has a future with his team. But the way I look at it, what I'm leaving this team with salary-wise, there's some room in next year because Segura is going to be gone. Nola's not going to be around. Hand, I wouldn't know if they would want to sign him or not. I think there's enough room to build on. There'll be some room to do some. Yeah, I mean they're going to have like free agent money. I think should be pretty high for this offseason. They'll probably be able to sign 1 or 2 big players. But I think maybe I'll sim while I'm talking here. But to me, my goal was to see if I could turn this team around and get them into the playoffs. I did that, but I was hoping that I would do a little bit further. And you see Houston over the Mets in the World Series here. I guess the question now I would have about this team, my strategy was to sell off those high contracts. The other strategy would be, and this is poor season, my other take on this would be, okay, could you keep those guys and win long term? Is there a way to keep Chris Bryant? Man, who else did we give up? I mean, there. I know we gave up Chris. Well, can we get Chris Bryant and Rizzo? Who else was it? The shortstop. I'm just drawing a blank with that guy. But can you keep him? Could you keep? I think it was one other high contract closer. Could you have kept Hayward? Could you have kept all those guys and still managed to make it back to the playoffs and build a winner? And if anybody wants to take on that strategy, or if you have, maybe put it in the comments. I'd like to know if that's something that can be done. But for me, I feel like it was kind of half and half on this one. Kind of successful with my strategy, but not totally. Although, if I were to keep playing this team, I think I could make it competitive again next year. So it was just maybe 1 year blip as far as I'm concerned. We do still have some good young players to build on. And some money, because like I say, we'll probably let Caratini go and free up some money. So this team still has some upside the way I've got it developed. But I would have liked to have gone to the World Series, and I think I would have liked to build on last year, and we didn't. We just kind of took a step back. But if you've had any other success with the Cubs, put it in the comments. I'd like to hear. But now I'm just going to start looking for another challenge. Maybe with this game, I do have a Draft Day Sports college basketball series going on my channel. If you're interested, I've had a lot of fun with that. It's turned out to be a surprisingly good game. But look for some more content in the future from me, and I appreciate the support. And thanks for watching. I'll see you next episode.